Okay, hi guys. We're going to be looking at 1.2 day 1 notes today, where we're going to be doing the average rate of change and the difference quotient. So the first one we're doing is the average rate of change, which is the limit as x approaches c of f of x minus f of c all over x minus c. So this is our function, which is our f of x here that's given to us, and this is our c value. So we're going to do some substitution here. So the limit as x approaches. Now notice this says c, which is 2, so I'm going to replace that with 2. F of x is this entire function, so I'm going to replace f of x with that entire function, x squared plus 3x, and then minus, it says f of c, which in this case, f of 2, all over x minus c, which is 2. Now, we do need to, in order to simplify this further, we do need to find f of 2, so I'm going to go ahead and use my f of x function here that's given to me as x squared plus 3x. And so to find f of 2, we're going to go ahead and substitute in place of x, and then get 4 plus 6, f of 2 equals 10. Sorry. So the limit as x approaches 2 is x squared plus 3x and then minus 10 all over x minus 2. So now what I can do, I can try direct substitution here, but that's going to give me 0 over 0. So to just go a little bit further, I can go ahead and factor this to 5 minus 2 and x minus 2. And so we can go ahead and cancel, and now we can do our substitution. 2 plus 5 is 7. So I ran out of space, otherwise I would write this vertically with that limit x plus 2 carrying down. So I'm going to maybe try on this one and see if I have more space on this side here. So this one, kind of the same thing. Our f of x is square root of x, and I can go ahead and maybe even find f of 1 right away if I want to, which is square root of 1. And so that's just 1. So when I need to substitute it in, I can go ahead and just use that. So the limit as x approaches c is 1. My f of x is square root of x, and then minus my f of c is f of 1, which is 1, and then x minus 1. Now with this one, we can't really factor this, so we can go ahead and use conjugates. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of x plus 1. And so now we can go ahead and double distribute here. Square root of x times square root of x is x, plus, minus, and then minus 1. And then we have, of course, the x minus 1, this whole denominator that I don't want to distribute because I know that that's what I want to maybe cancel with here. So we can cancel those and keep a 1 there. And so now I'm actually evaluating the limit as x approaches 1 of square root of x plus 1. Now I'm ready to do the substitution. So that's going to be 1 over square root of 1 plus 1. Square root of 1 is 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is going to be 1/2. And this is the best way to kind of rewrite all of these limits vertically. Okay. And then this is the difference quotient here. So we're going to use the difference quotient to find limits here. So this is kind of a big deal to help us later on also in the next unit. So the limit as h approaches 0, so that stays as h approaches 0. F of x plus h is just like f of 1. Every place that you see an x, you're going to replace it with x plus h squared minus x plus h and then plus 1. This is what f of x plus h is. It's this entire expression here. So that's what I'm going to write here, but I'm going to go ahead and distribute that now that I have written it out for you. So x squared and then xh plus 2xh plus h squared, and then distribute the negative 3 and then plus 1. So that's what I've done here. I've already taken care of that. Now I'm going to write minus, and then this is my f of x. So I'm going to replace it with the function 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 all over h. Okay. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and distribute and kind of clean up this mess a little bit algebraically. So we'll distribute the 2 plus 2h squared minus 3x minus 3h plus 1 minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 all over h. Okay, and then we want to get rid of 2x squared minus 2x, negative 3x plus 3x, 1 minus 1. And you should notice that everything here has an h that's left over, so I'm going to factor out an h and then kind of rewrite this expression 2h and then minus 3 all over h. And then I can go ahead and cancel these h's, and then I'm ready for my substitution. So h is 0. This does not change. So it's just 4x plus 2, because this is h approaches 0. It's not x approaches 0. So 0 minus 3. So your answer is then 4x minus 3. And so we're just practicing some algebra with average rate of change and the difference quotient. And so I'll go ahead and work through numbers 4 and 5 real quick. And so this is my f of x. So to do f of x plus h, wherever I see an x, I am replacing that with x plus h. And then minus, my f of x is the original function that they gave me, and then all over h. And again, this is a radical, so we're going to do the conjugate and multiply it. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative at the same time here, because everything inside the radical doesn't change. And then all over the same thing here. And then we can go ahead and double distribute. So that radical is going to become 3 minus x minus h. This is a plus and minus the same thing, so 0. And then this is a positive times a negative, so negative. And then the square root times square root is just 3 minus x. And then this whole thing. This is a lot of writing here. And then don't forget the limit as h approaches 0. Okay, I don't know why I can't just scroll down. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and distribute the negative there, and you should see 3 minus 3, negative x plus x, and then you have a negative h, which you can cancel here, and you still have a negative 1 left here. And then now this is your substitution. H approaches 0, so I'm going to substitute that in here. And then again, I'm just not writing it vertically, but this is going to be negative 1 and then square root of 3 minus x plus square root of 3 minus x. And so this actually has like a 1 here and a 1 here. So this becomes, and I'm writing it vertically now, so 2 square root of 3 minus x. Okay, and the last one here is your common denominator. So if you notice, your common denominator is going to be x times x plus h. And so I'm going to take each fraction and multiply it by this common denominator to simplify this. Minus 1 over x times x plus h all over h times also the common denominator. And then we can go ahead and cancel and simplify. If I can just scroll down a little here. Okay. So x, this cancels. I just need to distribute the negative. And then go ahead and write that limit. H approaches 0. This becomes 0. And then the h cancels here, but notice you have a negative 1. So kind of keep that in mind. And then I'm going to go ahead and quickly do that substitution, x plus 0, which really then simplifies to negative 1 over x squared. So lots of algebra here today, and then we'll go ahead and kind of attach meaning to both of these, either later this unit